Hello. What is the topic of the day for for DeCarry? Okay, I want to get this clarity. What I'm looking at is outside. I want to get the clarity because a lot of women and men, everybody have their opinion, but I'm going to clarify some definitions about child support or deadbeat dads, deadbeat moms. And I think as a whole, people need to realize that that is a large market that a lot of types of people can fit in various situations. Now, I'm going to start with saying that if you're a mother or father, you have a job, job, employed, self-employed, with gainful income on a consistent basis, or even if it's partial, you're doing your best, whatever type of income you have to make ends meet with your child, for your child or children. You're meeting, if you have one child, you're meeting 82% of the weight. And so long as you can provide a roof over the child's head, we're not talking about grandma, aunts, and uncle house, and sister them, and cousin them house. We're talking about your own physical building where you can say where you sleep at and your child sleep at, without conjunction of others being involved financially. Then you're holding it down how it should be. Now, if the father is doing his 17% for that one child and the insurance without any fight and the visitation, he's an excellent father. No woman should, or no man should, even if a woman's doing the 17%, because some women do pay child support. They are excellent mothers and they're holding it down. That's what you call people that's on their shit and ain't holding no ties, regardless if they got the courts involved or not. Now, if you're able to co-parent without any court systems and you both busting it down equally, or y'all not making a big deal on who's doing the most and you doing what you can at all time, kudos for you, you're holding it down. When you can get along without worrying about who's screwing who. But the line sometimes can be drawn is how you enter people into your children's life that can cause problems. And so when you're adding other individuals in your relationship, you still want to be mindful that it can impact the child, even though a lot of us sometimes get selfish and don't think of the end game, how it impacts a child's psychological, social attitude, mentally and physically and spiritually. It can sometimes impact children's. Sometimes it goes unnoticed until they're grown, and then you get that discussion, well, mama, why you didn't, daddy, why you did this. So no one is 100% perfect, but those that fit in that category that can still have a relationship with no problems, that can make the right decisions for the children when they are in a relationship without causing conflict with the other parent, you're doing excellent. But when you're allowing other people to make decisions for the father, no matter what the status is, you need some help. It's just my opinion. Because you are the problem to the equation to the parent-child relationship. When you enter other people and you try to make them be the parent, it's not about the financial, it's not about the physical. It's ownership up to your bullshit. Because at the end of the day, let me sneeze on that bullshit. At the end of the day, you open your legs, you use your penis, and you made that child. And so the only two people accountable is the people that's made those children. Now I want to clear this up. Some people gets it confused and they call guys deadbeat, mamas deadbeat. I want to do some more clarity. The only deadbeats is when you open your legs or you stuck your penis in there, because for the simple fact, before you met that person, they either did not have gainful income, or either they were in college, or they had a part-time job, and it was clearly that either their family was helping them to get stable, or either they was trying to establish their self. So now you decide to have a baby because you chose not to use protection, or he chose not to use protection, or vice versa. It doesn't make a difference. Both parties are accountable for that behavior. And so when things don't go your way, you want to say, oh, they're a deadbeat. No, you're a deadbeat. Your vagina and your penis are deadbeats, because at the end of the day, everyone made a collective decision to not think about the outcome of the children even before they exist. So how do you ration through this? Okay, now let's go back to the single mom holding her 82% down, and or 83% down, or whatever it may be, 80%, because I believe 17% for one child if it's more than one child, and 20% if it's just one child. Let me correct myself. 80% is the number when you have one child. Any other additional kids, 17%, and however they disseminate it down through the court system. I'm going to say this: if a father does not take the initiative, and there's a mother that does not have a problem with him taking an initiative and being a part of his child's life, he's a deadbeat. No matter how financially he's doing it, he can sit up and say, well, it's the baby mama fault. That child don't have anything to do with your relationship, or of you getting denial that you still have feelings. Because that's all it is when you eliminate people out of your party, and you cannot coexist and communicate without thinking that one of you are wanting something from each other physically, because it's so not anything else. So I'm going to say this again: a man can be well together for his career, and are just financially stable to provide his 20% for his one child, or 17%, however many other children he have. But if he chooses to not actively be a part in none of his children's life, not one of his children's life, there's no such thing as a reboot when they get grown. That part of your life, you just was set in as a deadbeat father. Regardless if you was paying timely, it doesn't take the fact that you took away from quality time from your child. Just because you do not get along with the mother, or you don't want to see the mother, or you don't want to acknowledge her, or whatever the case may be, which most time is bullshit behind bullshit, because it be more to it, and they want to live this facade like it wasn't nothing existing. Most of those guys are stalkers of the baby mama, or vice versa, the baby mama stalker of the father. It can go first ways. Is just some people won't let it go and learn how to grow up and be mature. So if you fed in that category and you left a child behind because your excuse was the baby mama, and the baby mama clearly wasn't thinking about your ass because she was working and doing her 80%, then I would say this: understand that at that period of your life, you were a deadbeat father. Because it's not always about the money. It's the most important thing is the child. Making them whole, emotionally, physically, spiritually. That's the most important element in making them feel loved. And if it's a mother that did that same bullshit, you a deadbeat ass mama. You might get in your feelings, but it is what it is, because you made those collective decisions to not allow the father to be a part of the child, even though regardless, or the father made their collective decisions to not uh, do what he was supposed to do. It doesn't make a difference. Some fathers do have the child and they're the custodial parent, and the mother choose not to be a part of the mother. Vice versa. You're still a deadbeat mom. That's what I'm speaking on. Now, if that parent that is holding down her 80% or his 80%, they're good parents that's doing it. And they shouldn't have to beg a man to be a part or a woman to be a part of their child's life. I just clearly, instinctively thought about all this because at the end of the day, take the finances away. What have you done positive for your child? Now, there are fathers that is not going to never financially have it together. Whether if it's not in the stars form, whether if it's genetically trifling, if it's genetic, girl, just or guy, just deal with it. That it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you slept with that person, knowing the circumstances that it's a possibility that that person could not financially support himself or anyone else additional. So you want to call them deadbeat. No, they're not deadbeat. You're deadbeat and your vagina is deadbeat for even allowing a man to enter into you. Now, it may ruffle a couple of feathers, but we got to get to the nit to this because I just keep hearing all this baby mama drama and stuff like that. And then for these baby mamas and baby daddies that always want to cause a scene, they want to argue, they want to tell the other guy, especially some baby mamas, they want to tell the other guy that's in their life that the baby daddy ain't this, and the baby daddy ain't this, and he ain't this and that, and he will do this and he ain't that, and he ain't been there. 95% of the time, those bras are lying. Most of the time, they still have catching feelings behind these men that still do not choose not to be in their life. Just like there's women that is in that same boat. So we talking about both genders that can fit in there. Male and female can fit in there. Dad can sit up here and run the baby mama down and say all horrible things that he did this and did that. 9 times out of 10 that they still catching feelings. They'll go in denial and say they're not. Because all that energy you're speaking into existing, which is in your belief, in your mental space, is in no one else's space. Some people do not want their baby father or baby mamas to move forward. They do not want them to be successful. They do not want them to succeed. They do not want them to be a part of their children's life ever. They rather allow another trifling man come into their life worse than their baby father and be over those children that do God's know, you don't know what all they have done in front of their child. And so that's where we come with these behavior issues. I want to also clear up that it still impacts the children at the end of the day. So now we got these children confused. They don't know who their mom and dad is, and you think that shit is cute. It is a big difference if a mother or father gets married and that father and mother, either one, was absent totally, nowhere near in the universe near the child. That's a different situation. Whereas he meets someone that is willing to step up. That's a totally different ball game. So a lot of times people get the situations and they try to clump everything in one big thing. So if I'm single and I meet a man and the father is nowhere in existence and do not have any plans and he's moved on with his life and I've moved on my life, and he chooses to not to step up, then of course, hopefully the man that you choose is going to be there for the long run. But I have found that sometimes there's complex because what you have in plan, the man that you with may not have the same plans for you, and you might have just introduced your child to another male unnecessary that do not have plans to be in your life for a lifetime. So it's about making wise decisions and thinking it out. Exposing your children is more detrimental in some children's life than what you realize. It has your behavior, they're mimicking you and the things you do, and it's either they're going to choose to do the opposite of what you have shown, definitely, or they're going to gravitate to all the negative energy that you give the universe. But I wanted to clear out about these deadbeat moms and dads. There are a lot of times people try to clump it together. I just want to clear is that sometimes the guy may not financially have it, does not mean he's a deadbeat. He might cannot pay his child support. He may not can gain. But my thing is, if you slept this guy and he gets a criminal background and he's trying to make it on his own, and you go run and go do tit for tat child support, trying to put them on child support, you putting them in jail for what? So you can never get child support? Baby, go get a clue. They're not going to pay you any child support as long as he locked up. Oh, but maybe the catch is you want him to be locked up because you still have feelings for him. It's not that you hate him. You rather see him be locked away rather than another woman to be around him. You rather see him locked away than for him to have happiness or for him to find financial wealth. There's demented men and women that are like that, believe it or not. They're going claims that they hate their baby daddy, they can't stand it, they ain't over them. But as soon as they get in their relationship, whose name they call? The baby mama and daddy. Now, women and men, or if you're in a relationship and your new partner or old partner, no matter how you slice and dice, that keeps bringing up that old luggage, you may need to reevaluate your relationship because it's clearly not about you anymore. It never was, because that person has not let go of someone that is not willing to be a part of their life. And then there's women and men that drag those exes into their relationship, in their children, and feel like that the next woman has to be a part of your children's life. That is not a requirement. It is not a requirement. It's good that parents can co-parent. It's good that parents you can find some families that can coexist and have all those extended relationships and have left well alone, and it's strictly friendship. There are good people out there. There's good parents out there that know how to separate their emotions from the bullshit, and I commend them. And those are good parents that can sit together and knowing the ex, it ain't nothing there and never will be, and they can exchange children without conflicts on a consistent lifetime basis. It's very few far in between, but there is very few that do coexist in this world. But for those drama mamas and drama kings, it will never be peace, because they tend to always lie. They tend to stretch the truth. They tend to make up a fantasy to make you to believe that something existed in that previous relationship, which is not the whole truth. Now, I will say, those young men and young women that sleep with these young men on a fantasy that these men got it before they just make a stupid decision to have children, you need to swallow the pride and accept the bullshit. Get your ass a job and hold your end down, and then you won't worry about the 20% or the 17% that you receive monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, how often, or even if they can't pay that often. Get your ass off your ass and get a damn job, because the courts say that you're supposed to carry the weight. You're not married to that baby daddy or that baby mama, so it's your responsibility. You want this title custodial, and you don't even grasp the understanding. It's not about the 17%. It's not about the damn 20%, idiots. And if it offends some of my friends, but you're an idiot at this point, because the courts strictly say that you're a custodial parent. Custodial means that you hold every damn thing down except what's in that court order. And he may have in the court order where he has to provide the medical. He may have to provide his 20% in his back pay, or this 20% or 17%, or the insurance or not the insurance. And for you silly ass women and men that is on food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever the hell it is, to think that you have the nerve to call somebody a deadbeat. No, you are the fucking deadbeat. Those services are a need basis, not a lifetime basis. So I would suggest that you find you some type of self-employment job or a real damn job and stop trying to survive off of child support. It is a blessing if any parent can save all the child support and not spend it. But for the ones that are really using it to hold their children down, kudos, and I'm proud of you. But these deadbeat ass women and men that keep themselves so damn clean and their kids are looking fucking raggedy because they so self-absorbed behind a 20% and a 17%, and they don't even give God 10%. They don't hold down a job long enough, but they feel like that they should be treated like they are fucking king and queen. Sit the fuck down. I only commend those that are really trying. There are going to be women and men that do try, and they, no matter how many jobs they apply for, they do have a hard time getting a job. But that's just a season. God will open doors. I do believe that. But in reality, for those mamas that pretending like they sick, or if they're sick, always trying to blame it on their illness, wake the hell up. It's a lot of single moms and dads that have life illness that leads to death that still held it down and did their 80%. So I don't have 80 or 83%. I don't have a compassion for your ass at all. And my thing is, I think a lot of people get it twisted and thinking that the legal system is a resolution for the children, because at the end of the day, 20% can't do a damn thing for those kids. It do a little. If you're holding it down, it's a blessing that you're getting it. It just helps smooth things over. But for you men and women that think that you're supposed to dictate how it's spent, you should have thought about it before you put your penis in your vagina on top of it. You should have did a thorough emotional check on that individual's family to see how stable their asses are. If you did not do your due diligence on the background of those people that you sleep with, cough that loss up and keep it pushing. You only have 18 years. And the only way it's plus is because you're behind. Just keep holding on. But at the end of the day, I will say these men and women, just because you receive child support, I'm going to say this again. If that male is not present, he's a deadbeat father. But if you're refusing to allow him to be a part of his life, you are a deadbeat mom or father, whichever one is right. It could be a father that chooses to get the child support and just not allow the mother be a part. Now, if it's something clinically wrong with her and it has been documented that she's unstable, she's violent, or she's a sexual offender, or he's a sexual offender and he's violent, he caused harm to the children, yeah, those suckers don't need to see him. But if it's that damn detrimental, why did you sleep with him? That means that you condone that stuff. So I still have a problem with that. You knew what you were sleeping with before you conceived. Now, enough of this bull crap here. I have seen young people sick their new boyfriend on the baby daddy and wanting the ex to whoop his behind. I have seen, well, I know for a fact, I've seen baby mamas fighting on the baby daddies to show out, to get to edge a fight with the new boyfriend because he's thinking that something's going on. I have seen it all. I've seen even baby dads have to protect themselves because the boyfriend's pulling guns. I have heard and seen in the past people have lost their life behind silly ass women lying, exaggerating, just like men lying, exaggerating behind what the baby mama done. So my suggestion is if you find yourself in a situation where people got drama, run the hell away. Run the hell away. Because it's nothing but destruction. Somebody could lose their life because of pettiness. Because the end result is someone is not willing to let go of the relationship. No matter how many relationships they're in, they are not. And I want to say this. What gets me is these broads and these Negroes. Excuse my French for calling you Negroes. But my thing is, what gets me is that you can have 3 to 5 baby mamas. And you don't put child support on none of them, but you only put it on one. Sit your ass down, because the problem is that you still got feelings for that one that you want to pay child support. You got all those damn babies. He got all them damn babies, but you going to put child support on one baby mama. You got all these damn different baby mamas and baby daddies. Y'all need to sit y'all ass down somewhere. Because that's what you call gold diggers at this point, because what they're seeing is they thinking that a family got some, but they don't know families most likely worked hard for theirs, and they support their children so they can be successful. But when you have gold diggers that enter into the children's life, they tend to try to strip them from them ever being successful, because they got this luggage of these trifling baby daddies and baby mamas that don't want the best for their children. And woe on those young men and young women that choose women and men that comes from broken homes, and ones that want to pretend like they got broken homes or unstable homes. Because that's a lot of times you run across those type of situations, is that when people wants to be something that they're not, or they trying to fit in with the status of their friends, and they think it's a cool thing. They want to have that drama like they Bonnie and Clyde, or they Heckle and Jekyll, or whatever the case may be. That's unbalanced people that need psychiatric help. So when it comes to being a responsible parent, don't count out the people that have financial struggles, because if that person is willing to be there in that child's life, he is more, or she is more responsible than a lot of these people that are paying on a timely basis, because their absence is not present in front of their children at all. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that live their lifestyles. They will avoid people rather than taking care of their child. They use a million excuses, and they'll lie, make fantasies, make things that's not true. So if you're doing your best, you're holding it down, kudos for you, and I'm proud of you. Just keep doing what you're doing, but just try not to make no more mistakes if possible. Because with all this, the only people that is hurt is the children. And it seems like the court systems don't care at all about the welfare of the children. They say that they do, but they don't. Because a lot of times children end up in homes that are unstable, and the mothers are not fit mothers. And the legal system sometimes can play and leave out a good parent out of a child's life due to a bunch of lies on affidavits. Because nowadays you don't have to have proof. You can file a lie affidavit anytime. And these judges and these lawyers, and if you don't have a lawyer, it's not going to help the situation. There is a lot of times that good people do choose horrible people to make children with. And when I say horrible, they spiritually horrible. Their soul is rotten to the core. It's nothing that they can do. They can do all the right things for that person, and they still would not be happy. They still want to see misery on that person. And so I hate the legal system, and I can say this: if I could reason or got a person to understand even my situation, the court system wouldn't been the choice. So, you don't want to call these men or these females deadbeat, but at the end of the day, they have to be accountable for their behavior. No one's trying to make you suffer, but you need to realize that you owe apologies to the people that help raise your child. You owe apologies to the mother that or the father that you left behind to raise that child, because it's nothing easy. And sometimes in people's lives, they have low points of finance, and sometimes they have up points in their life. And even if you cannot help financially, the most important thing that is needed is the child being in that life. It's not about the little nickels dime. That helps. But that little 20%, 18%, most of you all don't even give God 10%. And the ones get 10%, it ain't gonna hurt you to give a child 20 or 17%. And because at the end of the day, you spending it on some whore or your homeboys, you eating out, you doing bullshit things. It's always extra shit that you're doing that you could be saving your money. And if you just think back in times, a lot of times you had the money, you just chose not to. And so I would say that women and men that are receiving it, just make wise decisions on the money. It's not for your homeboy, your boo, or for you going out for your club. It's trying to provide financial freedom for you and your child, to put a roof over the child's head, to make sure they have clothing, something to eat, their school supplies, whatever it needs. And sometimes it may even have to go on a gas bill. I can't knock that if that's what's providing the roof of your child. But I do say, if you have a able body in your home that you're laying up with, and you are giving your child support to a light bill, water bill, gas, and that person, whether if it's a female or male, or not holding their weight, you may need to reevaluate your relationship, because that child support strictly needs to go to that child, and it's for providing a roof for that child's household and taking care of making sure that that child's needs are met. I know some people are giving large amounts of money, and I can't hate on someone that may be getting $10,000. And so it's like, cop that shit up, because you chose that income lifestyle, and you chose the woman you laid with. And you can't tell a person how to spend their money, but the courts have already designated where it should go. And it's not to their darn nails, hair, and clothing. It's clearly not. It's for the child. But sometimes women and men get it twisted and think that they can do what the hell they want. But the court system don't have anything in place to correct it. So you just hopefully next time that you lay, and be cautious in who you lay with, and you put a seed in. I'm just saying.